Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the newest episode of the Sunrise Sports Show. I am your host, Zach McMurray, and today is a beautiful day. You're watching this probably on Saturday, April 4th, 2026. We got a good episode ready for you today. It is Friday, April 3rd. Recording in the morning, sitting out tomorrow morning. Good episode for you guys. Like I said, we are going over the Daily Dozen as usual, UFL update from the past weekend, MLB update from this week, and then we're going to update our brackets. So let's go ahead, cut no time, getting into it. The Daily Dozen trivia. Sorry if you can hear my laundry going behind me. Just doing a little bit of late laundry before I head home for the weekend. It's Easter weekend. I guess today is Good Friday. So I hope you all have a happy Easter. This AFC team, this is going to be NFL. This AFC team selected John Abraham with the 13th overall pick in the 2000 draft, and he totaled over 50 sacks for them before joining Atlanta in 2006. AFC team, 13th overall in 2000. I'm going to have to go with the first team that comes to mind is the Chiefs. Oh, not going to cut it. If we get a double sip, we'll probably do like Titans, maybe. They ended up going to the Super Bowl that year, so maybe he helped him out. A collegiate national champion, Shane Battier earned his first all-defense honors in 2008 while playing for this Western Conference team. I know him from the Heat, so that would not have been a good team as they're in the East. Western Conference, Shane Battier. Did he play for like the Kings or something? Got to keep it on. Dang it. Got to keep it quick. Keep it quick. This is for college basketball. The last time Illinois was in the Final Four, their backcourt featured this guard who got drafted third overall in 2005 and would make multiple all-star teams. I don't know any of these today. But what's new? Illinois guard? I don't know. Should we just say Shane Battier? Books. The debut novel for this famous book series was published in the UK in 1997, but it was published under the US a year later under this title, replacing the word philosopher. So that is going to be Harry Potter. Okay, Harry Potter. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Let's go. Celebrity mashup. Identify the two celebrities mashed up in this photo. Gosh, that looks like the chick from Seinfeld. But, shoot, actually just watched this 20 minutes ago, the Dozen episode with the Marquettes. I wasn't paying attention though, I was doing laundry. I know one of them I think is Anderson Cooper. I don't know the other one. That sucks. Sure. That sucks. Chain restaurants. This major fast food chain is currently offering a free 14-ounce bottle of milk for anyone that orders their new Buldak Dynamite Sweet and Sour Chicken. Gonna go with 14-ounce bottle of milk. First thing that comes to mind is gotta be Panda Express. Let's go. So we got 2 out of 9 so far. Running for 8 seasons, 2009, 2016, this USA Network dramedy followed a discredited but brilliant director who moved to the Hamptons and caters to the rich. Oh, brilliant doctor, not director, because I would have guessed Castle. House? What was that like? Isn't he a doctor? Dang. Movies. Salma Hayek put her toes in Quentin Tarantino's mouth in this 1996 film that Tarantino happened to co-write. Is that Kill Bill? That one's about a girl. Oh, Volume 1. Dang it. Music. If his status ain't hood, I ain't checking for him. Better be street if he looking at me. Our lyrics for this 2004 Destiny Child song. I'm gonna go with No Scrubs. First song comes to mind. All right, we're going to use that double sip. Like I said, Kansas City Chiefs. Should we go ahead and try with the Titans, like I said earlier? Dang it, not correct. All right, we'll see what I got wrong. The New York Jets. Would not have guessed that. My next guess was going to be the Chargers. NBA, the Rockets. Dang. College basketball was Darren Williams. All right, Sarah Michelle Gellar. So we got Anderson Cooper right, but we did not get Michelle Gellar. Music, Soldier. Movies, From Dusk Till Dawn. And Royal Pains. All right, so next on the list, we're going to go with our UFL update. Excuse me. I think this is a side note for the Daily Dozen. I can't remember if I mentioned this last episode or not. I thought about it, but I think I scrapped it. If you guys could think of some challenges for me to do, or from some punishments, I think would be fun. So all 7 of these that I got wrong, think of some punishments for me, and I'd be happy to do them because that's a lot of punishments I'd have to go through every episode, especially when I fly through it in 5 minutes like I did. Just trying to give my first instinct, not thinking about it, answers. So next we'll go with our UFL update. The Stallions, they won 15-3 or 15-13. Came back late, I believe. Wasn't able to watch it. Don't have cable, but they were the only, as you can tell, they were the only away team to win. Starting off the season great, 1-0. I believe they have. Let's see how many weeks they have. 10 weeks, and then they have the semifinals and the finals out in June. So yeah, the Stallions beat the Kings. The Defenders lost to the Battlehawks. Renegades beat the Gamblers. And the Orlando Storm beat the Aviators, the 2 new teams. Kings are also new teams, but they ended up losing as well. So this weekend, like I said, is coming out tomorrow. So that's going to be the 4th, which would be... So today, when y'all are watching this, the Storms are taking on the Kings in Orlando at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, or Central Time, Saturday, April 4th. Tonight, while y'all are... I guess before y'all are watching this, the Defenders and the Aviators, either team was looking up to pick up their first victory of the season. Going to be playing in Columbus, DC, moving over to Columbus to take on the Aviators. While we're waiting for Sunday evening at 5 p.m. on the NFL Network, I think that's pretty cool that the UFL, this brand new team, not brand new, it's been there for like 4 years now, still a young league. NFL Network is helping them grow by playing on their own network, or the NFL is helping them grow by playing on their network. But they're taking on the Houston Gamblers in Houston, so an away game again. Would be cool to get 2-0, start the season off really high, and be another away team victory. After that on Tuesday, no games Monday, but on Tuesday, April 7th, the St. Louis Battlehawks look to go to Dallas and beat the Renegades. Either team picking up their first loss this weekend. So it looks like either Orlando and the Stallions have the chance of being the only or both 2-0 teams this moving on to week 3. Another thing I wanted to look at were the new rules for the UFL season. Last episode, I didn't touch on it at all. I just kind of threw in the UFL, but wanted to look at these interesting rules that I found. I'll give it a like. Interesting rules that I found changing into this season. And it's pretty interesting because they're trying to make it a more fast-paced league, entertaining league than the NFL already is. NFL is already as big as it can be. It's growing out to play games in overseas. And so just to have a new UFL spring league that is entertaining and growing, I think is pretty awesome. So first off, 4-point field goal. Any successful field goal from the 60 yards or further will be worth 4 points instead of 3, which I believe the DC Defenders, they had a player and he kicked the first ever 4-point field goal of the season and since the new ruling was in place. Next is 1 foot in bounds. They're going to be taken after The UFL will only require 1 foot in bounds for a legal catch, adopting the NCAA rules to increase passing and scoring and potentially enhance player safety. Yo, what the heck? Give me 1 second. Yo. Hey. My bad. Are we good? That's my bad, guys. I'm working on the new setup, and I've got the tripod on the desk. And so I guess when I was knocking on the desk, it fell off. Anyway, not going to cut that out. That's my fault for trying to rush through things this episode. Probably just going to leave that in as that's funny. Y'all get to fall into my basketball trash can and then look around at the mess I'm working with. They're taking over. They're adopting the UFL. The UFL is adopting the NCAA rules because they want to, like I mentioned before, they want to be fast-paced, entertaining, and just take away from downtime. And I think the more reps you can get in, the further you go down the line, the more scoring. Everybody wants higher scoring games. Even though these weren't that high scoring last weekend. High score was 36. I take it back. That is a lot of points. On to the next one is the red zone penalties. The UFL will reinstitute the rule of half the distance to the goal for penalties committed in the red zone, which reverts back to the current NFL rules. Forgive me, I didn't do enough research to know what the rules were beforehand. On to the next, they eliminated the tush push. The league has eliminated the tush push, a play in which after the quarterback takes a snap, he is immediately driven forward as the offensive line surges and is assisted by additional players behind him who physically push him forward into the surging offensive line. It's been, I think, 3 years now in a row where, not in a row, but it's been the UFL every year takes a look and sees if they take a vote. Do we want to disband? Do we want to ban this rule or not? And I think this year was the first year they didn't even look about it. They didn't even think about it. They just said, we're going to keep it going this year. And so I think my take with that in the NFL is I think you just have to adopt. I think it is annoying if it's 3rd and 1 and you just go ahead and do it. But I think the Bills have done a successful job this past season of doing it themselves. So I think if you just want to stop it, if you're annoyed by it, build a defense that can stop it. Is all I guess the only thing you can do is adapt and overcome. Next rule is no punting inside the 50-yard line. No punts will be allowed from anywhere inside the opponent's 50-yard line. So that's 49 yards and in, unless it is less than 2 minutes until the half or the end of the game. Once the ball is made ready for the play inside the 50-yard line, a team cannot punt, even if a Why did I choose to read a bunch when I can't audibly? I have a hard time reading out loud. I always hated being called on in class. But anyway, subsequent penalty or loss of yardage moves the ball behind the 50-yard line. If the ball is on the 50-yard line, a team may punt the ball. So inside the 49. So that's saying even if you go beyond the 50 and the penalties draw you back, you still can't punt as you have already crossed the line during your possession. Overtime, the 3 attempts per team. Teams will alternate attempts from the 5-yard line. If, after 3 attempts per team, the tie remains, the teams will alternate attempts until a winner is determined. Home team will have the choice to go on defense or offense first. A coin flip will be implemented in place of the home team's choice. Points after a touchdown. Teams will have 3 scrimmage plays options to elect their points after touchdowns attempts, PATs as properly known, plus a new one, plus a new 1-point kick option. 1-point conversion, kick from the 33-yard line, 2-point conversion, ball placed on the 2-yard line, 3-point conversion, ball placed on the 8-yard line. So that is the UFL or the NFL doesn't have that option. They only have the 1 or 2-point conversion. So the 2026, this is the last slide, 2026 kickoff rules. On the kickoff line, the ball will be kicked from the 30-yard line. The kickoff team, the 10 remaining players on the kickoff team, will line up at the receiving team's 45-yard line. The receiving team zone, the receiving team setup zone will stretch from its 40-yard line to the 35-yard line and must have at least 9 players in that zone. Landing zone, the landing zone will be from the receiving team's 20-yard line to the goal line. The ball must reach the landing zone or it will be spotted at the 40-yard line. Out of bounds, if the ball travels out of bounds, it will be spotted at the 40-yard line. Touchback spots. There will be 2 touchback spots. The 40-yard line for balls kicked into the end zone and the 20-yard line for balls that hit the landing zone and then enter the end zone. So there you guys have it. That is the new, I guess I just liked it again. That is the new rules for the 2026 UFL season I forgot to mention last week. Like I said, I think it'd be cool to attempt to go to a game. If it's the Stallions, hopefully we might have to drive out to Birmingham, but we shall see. Next, I believe we had was an MLB update. Trying to just fly by, make it under 30-minute episode again. The Cincinnati Reds is our team that we won, or that won the spinning of the wheel. And so opening day, March 27th, Thursday, we lost to the Boston Red Sox at home in Cincinnati. And so, but after that, we won in final innings, 11 innings, extra innings. We won 6-5 against the Boston Red Sox. And then we won again 3-2 against the Red Sox. So that was, we won our first series of the year. Won our first series of the year against the Red Sox. Then we ended up playing, Thursday? All right, besides Friday, we played Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's 5 days in a row that we played. 3 series in a row. I guess that's normal. I didn't really know that about baseball. I guess that's why you have so many teammates. It's probably not all 9 playing all day, every day. You probably just rotate players out. But we ended up losing our second series against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Won the first game 2-0, lost both games after that 8-3. So that means, as you can tell, we are now 3-3, win-loss. I believe there's 186 games, maybe 182 games. So that puts us at 91, and 91 is going to be our record by the end of the year. Coming up this next week, today, while I'm recording, at 3:05, we're playing the Texans, I think, Rangers, the Texas Rangers. Houston Texans is the NFL. And then tomorrow and Sunday, looking to win against them. And then we have a 4-game, series against the Dolphins in Miami. So we had 2 home series, and now we got 2 away series. We'll have 2 home series after that against the Angels and the Giants. So with the new season, we're 3-3, third in the NL Central. With the new season comes new rules, and I wanted to talk about the MLB newest rule of the ABS, Automatic Ball Strike Challenge System. This is just from the MLB.com, and it's a visual guide, as you can tell, interactive guide. You scroll down and it gives history, but I just wanted to cut to one slide of it. And I've been watching a lot of clips on Instagram recently, and if you guys have the time, I would suggest you watch a bunch of clips as well, because it's real interesting that players can, if they don't like the look of a ball, they tap their head and they're like, hey, I think that was a strike. Or obviously if you're batting, you think it's a ball. And it'll run through a replay of where the ball went. And then the umpire will be like, hey, this player thinks that it's a ball. He wants to challenge it. But really, it was not. And so they'll do a replay of it. Sorry, I'm trying to fix I guess it only zoomed in a little bit. But yeah, so the players will be like, hey, that wasn't a strike, that was a ball. They'll tap their head. The umpire will be like, great, another one of these guys. Call to the screen, presented by T-Mobile. It's going to flash up into a box and show the distance of how correct they were or how wrong they were. And so each team gets 2 challenges. If you get the challenge right, you get another one. You get to keep going until you get 2 wrong, pretty much. And then you're out for the game. And so against the Red Sox, we made them use theirs in the 3rd inning. So they went the whole game, the rest of the game, without another challenge. And so I'm sure there's calls that they weren't happy about, but they weren't able to do anything about it. So I just kind of want to give that definition again. A little 101, like the title says, a new era of balls and strikes has arrived. For the first time in more than a generation, Major League Baseball is fundamentally evolving its rulebook dimensions for the strike zone. Following years of rigorous minor league testing, the MLB Automatic Ball Strike ABS Challenge System, powered by T-Mobile, is finally ready for its big league debut. Commonly referred to the MLB as ABS, this challenge system introduces a high-stakes competitive dynamic to the classic batter-pitcher duel. This visual guide breaks down everything you need to know about the MLB ABS. Again, I definitely suggest you scroll through this. I'm going to skip to a latter portion of it, just showing you an example. But another definition on ESPN's website, Major League Baseball implemented the ABS challenge system for 2026, which allows players to challenge a ball or strike called made by the plate umpire. Each team receives 2 challenges to start the game. Only batters, pitchers, and catchers can challenge a call. If that team wins a challenge, it can keep challenging. If that team incorrectly twice, then it loses challenges for the rest of the game. And then it gives a breakdown of the ranks. So, as you can tell, the old system was a 3D model. Now it's a 2D model. It gets pretty difficult because there's another clip I saw where the ball falls into the strike zone and then drops. So they called it a ball, or they called it a strike, but the batter was like, nah. He dapped his head up, and then because it's a 2D model and it fell underneath by the end of the program, they overturned that call. So then the pitcher ended up just trying again and just made it a little higher. So we'll see here in a second a clip. There's no audio. And then just example of how the ABS system works. Let's see if we can go up, and that's going to restart at some point. But as you can tell, it's zooming in. Hopefully that'll reset in just 1 second. So he throws the ball. Oh, here we go. How the rules of the ABS system work, you can tell he pitches the ball, and then he's like, I don't like the look of that. Daps his head up. The catcher does, because he called, I believe, a ball, and this is in the World Series, or this is in the All-Star games, but catcher's like, I don't like the look of that. Taps his head twice, and so then you see by T-Mobile, it actually ended up being a strike. And so they get that call overturned from a ball to 3 strikes, and now that batter's out. And so that's just the gist of it all, is if you don't like the call, it can only be the pitcher, the batter, or the catcher can determine who challenges, and they only have 2. So if that catcher is like, I don't like the look of that, and then it replays here by T-Mobile and it ends up being lower than that box, it'll tell you it was low by a certain amount of inches, and then they lose 1. So now they have 1 challenge left. But really, if they get that challenge correctly, no, stop doing that. If they get that challenge correctly, then they just keep getting more challenges. And so as long as you get it right, you get infinite amount, really. But yeah, I just want to talk on that because that seems to be all the craze. Next, we'll have the bracket challenge. An update from the bracket. Last episode, we flipped the coin again, and we had our Sweet 16 bracket, and we had, Arkansas winning the entire thing. And unfortunately, the only thing we have left is Illinois can get us our last points if they beat UConn. Obviously, flipping a coin is not how it's going to be the best way to determine it all. No? All right, test, test. 1, 2, test, test, 1, 2. Um, so I am, good morning, I guess, again. I am in my house, I guess where I grew up, back in Murfreesboro. And like I mentioned in earlier in the episode, I was recording yesterday, and then y'all saw me get interrupted. But now I'm just finishing up my last 10 minutes here while I'm at home, just rolling off a laptop, and just going to finish up my last couple of thoughts here. Um, so I don't have the previous bracket, but we were looking at, well, we have Arkansas winning the whole thing. And then my last little couple minutes I wanted to say was for my family's bracket, I wish I could pull it up, but I don't know my login, is I need, I have Duke winning the whole thing over here, but I have Michigan beating Arizona. And so for my family's bracket, my brother-in-law has Arizona winning against Michigan. And then I have Michigan beating Arizona. So if Michigan beats Arizona and makes it to the finals, then I will win my family's bracket. But if Arizona beats Michigan, then my brother-in-law Quinn is going to win our family's bracket. On my wife's side of the family, we're in a bracket together. And if Arizona, or if Michigan beats Arizona and makes it to the finals, and they win the finals, my father-in-law wins the family bracket. And then if Michigan makes it to the finals and loses, I'll win the family bracket. But if Arizona beats Michigan, then my sister-in-law is going to win the whole thing. So I'm really hoping that Michigan can win and then lose to either Illinois, since that's what we need in our bracket, or UConn. Um, Either way, be happy if Michigan makes it and then loses, as I don't like Michigan at all. But just so we can win as a team. That's pretty much the last thought. One more thing I had pop up as I was looking this morning. Um, a new piece of news is that the NCAA tournament, both men and women's, is looking to expand to 72 teams for the tournament instead of 64. So I'm interested to see how that voting process goes and how that's going to play out next year. Um, all right, I appreciate you guys. That's all I had the last couple minutes here, full and remote. Um, Thank you guys for being with me this episode. Probably thought I was going to cut out, but I just wanted to throw this back tag in there, and then I'll splice it all together. You guys have a happy Easter. It's probably not going to come out this Saturday, but it's probably going to come out tomorrow morning, Easter morning. Y'all have fun with your families, and God bless.